Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the YDN cast. Of course, I am your host, as always, Kyle Viveris, joined by Miss Jackie Coleman, Mr. Tristan Zamora, Nick Swank. Logan Turner is out this week. He had a prior commitment that he couldn't get out of, but in his place, we have our guest, Mr. Austin Bean.
What up,
the Bean Maestro himself.
Oh, okay.
Austin, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty well, actually.
It's good. It's good. Obviously, we're doing the YDN cast, which is all video game focused. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? What's your favorite video game? What's your favorite console choice?
Console of choice is probably the PlayStation 2. That was probably the greatest console ever invented. Fight me on that, Nick.
It's a solid choice.
I will.
Growing up, I played a lot of Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
Played a little bit of Tekken, and then Spyro,
Oh, yes.
and stuff like that. Lately, I've been getting into the COD 4 remaster.
Oh,
It's been a bit of a nostalgia trip for me. They've added in like a bunch of customization options into the game. And so that's been pretty fun. I've also been playing Firewatch. If any of y'all have played that.
I've been
That
wanting
was
to play
a phenomenal game.
I heard a lot of really good things
And then
about it.
Oxenfree.
God,
I know
love
you've played
Oxenfree.
that.
Yeah, I
Oxenfree
haven't
was
played
a
that.
phenomenal game. Very unique.
Very well done too
Yeah.
for an indie studio.
And then I'm also a huge Bethesda fan.
Right.
I've put countless hours into Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas.
How many versions of Skyrim have you bought so far?
I bought it on 360 and PC, and I got like the remasters.
Nice.
That's like the new true measure of a Bethesda fan. How many versions of Skyrim do you own?
How many of my copies of Ocarina of Time would you like to see?
Yeah, there you go.
Didn't we mention that in the last episode?
Right, yeah.
Alright, there's the running gag right there.
There you go.
So Star Wars. Okay.
Yes, Star Wars. Yes, that's what we're talking about. No, Star Wars, I'm sure, will eventually be its own podcast on its own.
That's a different rabbit hole.
Yeah, we don't have time to talk about that because we have to talk about video games.
Yes.
Video games. Swank, what have you been playing?
Kind of more the same. I'm actually progressing more in Golden Sun. Breath of the Wild's kind of fallen to the side a little bit. I haven't had as much time to put into it.
Right.
I started playing Overwatch actually again, as opposed to just kind of screwing around.
Wait, isn't that what we all do in Overwatch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're good.
Yeah.
Fair.
Good.
I finished my comp matches. I heard there was competitive capture the flag, and that's enticing.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got that Year of the Dog event going on right now.
Yeah, I knew the event was going on. I'm not a huge Overwatch fan.
Yeah.
Like, I have the game, but...
Other than that, I haven't really been playing a whole lot. Oh, well, I did pick up, I've been watching my roommate play Monster Hunter World, and it made me want to pick up Monster Hunter for Ultimate again and start playing that.
I have never played a Monster Hunter game.
They're fun. You have to be willing to commit a lot of time to them, though, because unless you just want to be a one-trick character with a specific type of weapon, you're going to have to devote yourself to learning a new weapon every single time.
Right.
And that can get a little tedious, but it's fun.
Yeah, Monster Hunter World has definitely been the first one that I've actually even considered picking up, but it's still one of those games that it seems like it'd be a lot more fun to play with people, and I just don't think I would have somebody that I would want to play that game with consistently.
I mean, I'm waiting for the PC release whenever that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll get like a Monster Hunter World Ultimate. That would be great.
Oh,
It might be a little early to say this, but just from what I've seen, I would consider it as a possible contender for Game of the Year later on.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Already.
Okay.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Wow.
2018 started off really good with Monster Hunter World.
2018 started out
Strong with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
January was jam-packed.
Yeah, because I mean, you got Monster Hunter World has been very much talked about in the space right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball FighterZ has been.
True.
I have a hard time seeing a fighting game winning Game of the Year just because it is like one of those games, like kind of like a horror game
so
where
niche.
it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply, and
But with the Dragon Ball following, though.
yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I think I actually saw something like an article the other day that said like it's one of the top 10 most played games on Steam right now, but it's had like an 80% drop off since like it first launched, which is like
Maybe they should balance their characters.
probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had that.
Playing Vegeta is only so fun.
Right. Another strong game that that came out already this year is Celeste. And I know, Tristan, you've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Celeste. I got a Nintendo Switch this week, so I've been playing Celeste and Breath of the Wild, as well as some Overwatch, same as last podcast.
Overwatch on Switch when, though?
They already said that they're not doing it.
Oh, good. No, that was a joke.
I wish. I would be playing it right now. Joy-Cons right here.
Hey, this is YDN cast.
I actually feel like Diva with the...
Damn it, Tracer!
Oh, God. That would be so cool. I'd like Diva.
Oh, my God.
Motion control
The
Joy-Con
gyro.
moving.
Oh, that'd be good. Now I really want that.
Oh, on top of that, I also
Blizzard,
got
hear
Cuphead.
us.
Huh, what was that?
I was like, Blizzard, hear us.
Blizzard,
Listen
call
to
me.
us.
Yeah.
Call me. I got ideas.
How is Cuphead?
I've been playing Cuphead on PC. It is definitely hard. It lives up to that title.
Oh, definitely.
It's fun. I love it. The art style is fantastic. I can't really find any flaws in the game. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it really does fit how I like to play. It's frustrating as hell, but I keep coming back for more.
See,
Go ahead.
so what I was gonna say is about what I love about Cuphead is that you're right. It is hard as fuck, but it's hard as
That's putting it
fuck.
right now.
But the cool part about it that I love so much is that it never feels like bullshit when it's hard. It's like when I mess up, when I die, I'm like, yeah, that was my fault. I fucked up on
My
that.
bad.
That wasn't bullshit that the computer pulled on me. That was me not knowing what the pattern was or like fucking up somehow. Whereas with a game like Dark Souls and it's like its difficulty, I always feel like I fucked up. I always feel like I died because something with the game was fucking with me. Like the camera was stuck in the wall or something.
The first Dark Souls had a lot of that, and then they tried to fix it in the second one and only made it worse.
Yeah.
But then 3 was a nice, refreshing pace. But no, what I was going to say about Cuphead, my only issue with it isn't really an issue with the game itself. It's more of a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of, those bullet helly kind of games, and
Right.
Cuphead isn't always like that, but it can definitely get there.
Oh, it's
absolutely.
considered a bullet hell game. I mean, there's enemies flying at you
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
However, I will say the art style and the music are enough to keep me dragged back into it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful game.
Also, while we're on the topic, I feel like Celeste is also the same way. I feel like the controls are really tight, refined. I feel like if I mess up or if I die in the game, it's because I messed up, not because of something about the game engine or anything like that. It's a very straightforward game.
No Bethesda clips?
No Bethesda clips.
Like you're not clipping through walls.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Yeah, I wish that I could get all the strawberries and all the B-sides, which those strawberries are hard as hell to get.
Yeah.
But another thing about the game is it has a fantastic soundtrack. Like, I was literally I was playing it on my TV, and then I paused the game, and I just listened to it for 5 minutes with my girlfriend. She just listened to it as well. And fun fact, I also found out that the Celeste soundtrack is on Spotify.
So, is it?
That's cool.
Yes. So if you want to listen to it, I have it on my phone right now.
I'll have to take a listen to that.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I love whenever games, I guess advertise wouldn't be the right word, but they advertise their soundtracks to
Same thing with Cuphead. I mean,
Oh, God.
they were selling it right off the bat. If you look at a making of the game, you see a lot of the live recordings that they use for the big band sound.
That's what I was
Yeah,
going to
I've
say
been seeing
with
that.
Shovel Knight, Jake Kaufman, the composer of that soundtrack. He's released the soundtrack for the original game and all of the DLC for free on his Bandcamp website.
Really?
Wow.
I'll have to look at
Yeah, it
that.
has like a enter price here to buy, but he denotes that you can put $0 in. It's just purely for donation's sake.
Nice. I like that.
Talk about games with good soundtracks. Have y'all played Hyperlight Drifter?
No, but I
No,
want
that's
to.
on my list.
Oh, it is definitely worth the buy. It falls in that category of really frustrating games, but it's not so of like the game fucking you over. It's like, oh, I fucked up on that.
Yeah.
Like you get a certain amount of heals throughout the game, and the game gives you those heals back very sparingly. So you can enter an area and you can fuck yourself over, and you may just have to restart the game because
Jesus.
you're stuck there. But It is a phenomenal game.
Speaking of that too, also Fury is on that list.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I really want to
Fury
play.
is very fun.
I really want to play it.
It's it's kind of ironic that I said I don't like bullet hell games. Well, the reason I like Furious is everything's so unique. Like, there's the one level where you create your own boss fight. The boss is surrounded by rotating plates, and when you hit them, your bullet bounces back and just starts reflecting.
Ooh, really?
So you create the bullet hell trying to get to the boss.
That's
oh
amazing.
no.
Yeah.
The thing about that game is, like, every boss fight feels like the final boss fight.
Yeah, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's how they market it. There's nothing else in the game but boss fights.
It's just a boss rush.
You
game.
can walk from boss
Interesting.
to boss, or you can press R2 and let your character do it by
And just
himself.
listen to the badass music.
In a way, it almost feels like there's been like kind of a resurgence of boss rush type games
Yeah,
absolutely.
recently. Like, especially like, I know it's a kind of in a different kind of way, but with the Shadow of the Colossus remake that came out a couple of weeks ago,
That
like,
looks very, very good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot wait to pick it up.
yeah, I actually haven't played all the way through Shadow of the Colossus before, but like
You
that.
owe it
I
to
made
yourself.
about halfway through.
I have not
honestly.
played it. I didn't hear about it actually until the remake was announced.
Yeah.
Everybody owes it to themselves to play Shadow of the Colossus at some point.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that's like considered to be one of the best of all time.
It was definitely one of the best PS2 games, without a doubt.
Oh yeah. What has everybody else been playing?
Tristan, you got anything?
Oh no, those are about it. I've just been putting a lot of time into the Switch.
Jackie, I know you've been super busy lately. Have you had the chance to play too terribly much?
I've been playing Ultra Sun a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh, I need to get back
Nice.
into that.
I made it through the first totem.
That's about where my playthrough fell off. I just haven't gotten back to it yet.
I lost my DS charger.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know where it is. So my phone, my DS is on like red, and I'm just like,
We have to ration this out.
oh my god.
If I play for 10 minutes today, I can play for 20 tomorrow.
I can't believe we didn't find it today. Like today
Yeah,
when we
I
were
know.
cleaning.
I don't know.
I don't know. If you have seen Jackie's 3DS charger, please let us know at Your Daily Nerd. Send us put a comment in the section below.
Shameless plug.
We need that 3DS charger.
Yeah, that's all you look for.
But so that's about it. Just Ultra Sun.
Basically, a little bit of Dream Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Dream Daddy?
Dream Daddy.
Have you
Not
heard of?
familiar.
Have y'all heard
You
of Dream
haven't
Daddy?
heard of Dream Daddy?
Oh, okay.
No.
Yes. Please tell us about Dream Daddy.
It's a daddy dating simulator where your character, you can customize them to make him however you want him to look like, your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a daughter, and you move into this new cul-de-sac of other hot daddies, and you date around. It's really fun.
I think it's actually written by the Game Grumps,
It is.
and it's
Oh.
actually, but it's
It's really good.
it's published. Either published or developed by Adult Swim Games.
Really?
Oh,
That's actually kind of cool sounding.
It's like
It's so fun. They
Like-
give you daddy tips too. Like
Oh my gosh.
they're like real life tips that you can use. They're like on the bottom.
So
of
it's
the
fun
loading screen.
and educational.
It
Yeah.
is.
and it's like one of those things where it's like usually those types of games are really cringy and have like
Yeah.
bad
No, it's so
writing.
good.
It's actually really super well written.
Oh,
like
really?
surprisingly,
It's
yeah.
incredible, and it has the most incredible dad puns through the
Great.
whole thing.
Oh my god.
Wonderful.
It's-
It's
It was-
perfect in every way.
It's actually one of Giant Bomb's top 10 games of last
Really?
year. Yeah,
Really?
like
What can you play this on?
PC.
PC? Okay.
Interesting.
Alright, I'll have to look at
A
I
it.
can
game
pull
I
it up
forgot
later if you
about.
wanna
I
see it.
played a little
Alright.
bit. I've been wanting to play more. Is South Park and the Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. It's kind of the same concept as what they did with the Stick of Truth.
Skeptical.
It's you look at it and you see it's a South Park title, and you're like, how good can it be? But it's a solid RPG.
Oh, yeah.
Even like
Interesting.
without the South Park references and connections, or the Stick of Truth is at least, in my opinion, an 8 out of 10.
Dude, Obsidian can make some good RPGs.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a really good game, and Fractured Butthole has been shaping up to be nothing but as good.
Interesting.
I've also been playing the Minish Cap for the first time.
Oh, that's a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I've been borrowing Nick's
Memories.
copy. I've been enjoying it. I'm frankly new to the Zelda franchise. I've played Breath of the Wild. I've played a bit of Ocarina, a bit of Majora, and I played Twilight Princess all the way through.
Nice.
But I like Minish Cap a lot. I like the art style, and just playing it on Game Boy is
So this is
really
your
refreshing.
first top-down Zelda game?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, I played the original Legend of Zelda like a little bit. I never owned an NES though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I just played it at friends' houses.
Oh, no.
The original Legend of Zelda, just a quick tangent, has one of my favorite like exploits, I guess. In the first dungeon, you can walk into it and you see there's 3 doors, 2 on each side that are unlocked and a locked door at the top. If you walk out of the dungeon and back in, that door at the top will be unlocked for whatever reason. And since dungeon keys work in any dungeon, you can just keep an extra key with you throughout the entire game.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
That's
I don't,
weird.
I don't know who thought to just or who discovered it. Like walks back in. Wait, wasn't that door locked?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Actually, that seems like a pretty simple exploit compared to most of the stuff you found.
Yeah.
You find nowadays is like, how did you find this? Like,
God.
take 12
I
steps
was
to the
walking
left.
along this thing, and then I saw this one pixel that seemed kind of out of whack.
I think the best
Oh,
example of
God.
who the fuck discovered this is the current speedrun strategy for Luigi's Mansion.
Oh God, what is it?
After the first like big boss ghost fight, you have to hold your control stick up and to the right, but not too much, just a little bit, and you'll clip behind the treasure chest. But you have to stop because if you go too far, you'll pop out. But if you don't go far enough, you won't stay. And then you have to like edit your control to go to a side step, and you can fall in between floor 1 and floor 2.
Oh.
It's so crazy. And then you have
Who
to
comes up with
yeah,
this?
you have to maneuver around the dungeon, or not the dungeon, the mansion, intentionally take damage to boost yourself through a wall. It's insane, and all I can think of is who the fuck found that.
Who had the
Right.
time? Who came up with this?
Who did this?
But it reduced the Luigi's Mansion speedrun from about an hour and 10 minutes to about 7.5 minutes.
Jesus.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
you used to have
Goodness.
to play through the entire game just really quickly. Now you can do the first boss, walk around, fall into a corridor, and you're at Bowser.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Game came out.
It's
in
a
2001.
GameCube game. There's no spoilers for GameCube games at this point.
Game came out in 2001
Yeah, you had your time.
or 2002. Either way.
Ugh.
Jackie, playing anything else besides Dream Daddy and Ultra Sun?
Plants vs. Zombies.
Fair, like the original one, right?
Yeah.
God, that's a fucking
So
throwback.
you don't have any internet.
Yeah, yeah. Just so you know, not having internet sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Back in the Stone Ages.
Can't confirm.
Well, I like text on my phone.
It also really sucks when you have game sharing set up with your cousin on your
Doesn't
Xbox. So so my Xbox is set as his home Xbox,
Mhm.
and vice versa. I don't have internet right now, so I can't access any of my games. All I can access are his games.
Oh
Nice.
no.
So I have it's funny. So I had a physical copy of Injustice 2, and he had a digital copy of it. When we started doing game sharing, I was like, okay, well, cool. I don't need this copy of Injustice 2 anymore. So I have a digital copy of Injustice 2 on my Xbox. No big deal. But I had already bought the season pass for the game on my account or whatever.
Oh, no.
So I can play Injustice 2 right now with no internet. But I can't play as any of the DLC characters for Injustice 2 because technically the DLC belongs to me. And this is
And
technically
it's his
my
home
cousin's
console.
this is my
Yeah.
cousin's home Xbox
Oh, man.
technically. So, because of that, the other day I was like, okay, well, I got no internet. I just want to play. I want to learn how to play as the Ninja Turtles because Ninja Turtles came out last week on Injustice 2.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Everybody's
'cause
talking about that.
I got to play a little bit of them like when they first came out because I still had internet at that time. And I was like, I got to go into the character tutorial and try each of them out, and I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of get the concept of this. I'm like, now, my brief review of the Ninja Turtles, cool concept. They're going to be somebody's playstyle. They're not my playstyle. But it was like one of those moments where I was like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and run through the 5-man multiverse, so that way I can go ahead and get the story ending for the Turtles. I don't know if it's like one. You only have to do it once as one of the Turtles to get all 4 of their endings, or if it's different ones for different character, whatever. But I got in there and I was like, wait, I can't pick the Turtles. Where are the Turtles?
I want my turtles and I want them now.
But yeah, turtles play very, very interestingly. But I would say they probably play exactly how you expect them to play.
Good.
Leonardo's character power allows him to basically tag in his brothers to like do different moves, and they all have like different things. Trying to think. Donnie has like a launch, does like a launcher.
Mm-hmm.
Raphael throws his scythe for a projectile, and Mikey does an overhead with a skateboard.
Solid. Have you thrown pizza at anybody yet?
Not yet. Well, yes, I did. Never mind. Yes, I did. I threw pizza.
Good.
Michelangelo's character power is that he pulls out his skateboard, and then depending on what button you push after that, it does a different like trick move, basically, where it's like a skateboard that has rockets on the back of it, so it like pushes him forward. And it's like one of them hits him for a low for a knockdown. One is a projectile that just hits him straight in the chest, and the other one like flies up for an overhead like smash over the top of it.
I love how much thought went into these characters.
Oh yeah, dude, that game is so good, and like they do so much detail work with those characters. Donatello is he does gadgets, so his character power is all based on setting up like traps with like his individual gadgets. Like this one absorbs projectiles, so I can't get hit by projectiles in front of me real quick. Or
nice.
This one causes you to not be able to jump for a couple of seconds, or this one causes you to, if you're touching the ground, you're gonna get damaged like over time. But it sucks. Donatello's my favorite of the Ninja Turtles, but I'm like, that gadget style and trap style of fighting is not my thing, man. Like I it's not how I play. Yeah. Like I play as Atrocitus. Atrocitus is my main. I go in there and I fuck shit up. Yeah. Yeah, Swank, you guys have seen me like when I was fucking up one of our friends the other day, and I was Atrocitus. I was just like 40% combo, just like beat the shit out of him. And then Raph has a weird character power where he's like, he like psychs himself up, like he builds it up over time, and then when he launches the character power itself, it basically goes into an auto combo if it lands. Like
nice.
And then you can like meter burn in the middle of it to stop and like add your own like moves into it, to like cancel out of it. Wow. So they all have very distinct play styles, but they all play just the same way that you would expect them to.
Good.
Oh, nice.
I guess we're on my week now.
Yeah.
So
talk about yourself. Don't make it all about us.
That's what a good host does.
But it's your daily nerd, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's my daily
nerd, and
I need it now. Oh, title.
That's a podcast title right there. Yeah, really the only thing. What else have I played? I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild. It's not like, I think I said last week that I finished up the Divine Beasts, which is fun. But now it's kind of, I'm going back and I am just cleaning up side quests. I'm like, because I don't feel like going and fighting Ganon yet.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's like one of those things. It's like, I want that to be like the last. I want to savor the moment. So like right now I'm just kind of like going around and doing like different like shrines and just kind of being like, okay, well, what can I fuck around with out here? I got the Dark Link armor set yesterday, so which is real funny because if you're wearing it and you go talk to people while you're in the game, they get scared, like, because he's got like those piercing red eyes, and it's so great.
He's real spoopy.
He's very spoopy.
You know how Breath of the Wild's a poorly made game? You know how they tell you that anything wooden will burn up in Death Mountain if it's there for too long? What about the Koroks?
That's a podcast, everyone. Thanks for watching. What else? So I got the cool thing about the Dark Link armor is that when you're wearing a full set of it at night, you get a speed boost.
Oh,
nice. So that's neat. I got the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 armor today.
Nice.
Really?
For a weird crossover thing.
I didn't know that was an
Yeah, I
option
saw
for
that
the
I had
game.
the quest.
Yeah, there's a
open up for
DLC
that.
quest for Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
It's
Neat.
the armor itself looks cool. The armor set bonus is lame.
What is it, if I may ask?
It's a increase of speed to swimming.
So the Zora armor.
So the Zora armor basically minus the
God.
dash attack, the spin attack.
No.
Also, you can't upgrade it.
That's odd.
So there's no upgrade potential to it, so you can't like get it upgraded at like a Great Fairy or anything. So it's just a base stat of 5 on each thing.
That's odd.
So it's like this is decent, but I
Like,
could
it's
also
not-
just increase my Zora armor, and then also this like the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 armor looks cool. Like it looks good on Link, and it has a good aesthetic to it, but. That Zora armor, man. That Zora armor looks fucking good.
It does.
Oh, it's good.
I'm
But
about to-
Dude, on my playthrough, I ended up dyeing the top of it orange and the bottom of it green, so it looks like Aquaman's armor.
hell yeah.
Oh,
Good,
nice.
good.
And then with the trident,
I'm looking up the Xenoblade
Fashion of the
Chronicles 2
Wild.
armor because I want to see what it looks like.
Speaking of Aquaman, because we haven't had internet, usually I like to watch I watch a lot of different shows. I watch a lot of different shows. I just watch YouTube. That's all I do
pretty
all the
great.
time. So I started watching. I remember that I had the first season of Super Friends
Oh, good.
on DVD,
Oh,
and I started
my
watching
God.
that again.
what a nostalgia trip.
Is man, there's some of it. It's one of those things where it's like I get at the time that it was great for what it was, and there's a lot of nostalgia that I have associated with the Super Friends, but there are some massively gaping story holes in this. There was one where it was like I think it was Wonder Woman, Black Vulcan, who I never heard. I don't think he's an actual DC superhero. I think he was made up for Super Friends. And then somebody else. God, it's gonna kill me if I don't remember. Hawkman. It was Hawkman. That's who the other one was. They're out repairing some satellite in space. The Legion of Doom has decided. Guess what? The Legion of Doom is at it again.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh no! Welcome to the Super Friends podcast, everyone. But no,
We'd have
it's,
gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
So-
wrong show.
so I think it's Brainiac is the one behind this one who was like, all right, we're gonna activate this cloaking device, and so it cloaks the entirety of the Earth. They're out working on the space station, and they're like, all right, thanks, Super Friends, and like, no problem, all in a day's work. And they start flying back towards Earth, and they're like, the Earth is gone, and they're just like, what is? How did this? Where did it go? You know?
Be where you left it.
At least, it's not like they were going. It's not like they had gone far. There's no way they could have gone far from the Earth because there are people out there in space with
Is
them.
the
Like,
moon just chilling out there?
I
Just
guess
still in
so.
rotation?
Yeah, probably.
It went that way,
what
bro.
you do is, if this is the satellite and you flew this way, you just turn around and fly back.
Yeah, and so Toyman fakes them. Toyman fakes them out with this fake Superman call. Right? He's like, "Oh yeah, we don't know what happened. The Earth got sent to this quadrant. Help us right now."
The Superman fanfare plays really shittily in the background.
Yeah, right. And so Wonder Woman, Hawkman, and Black Vulcan are like, "Oh, we gotta go help them." They fly off to this quadrant, and in deep space, right? And
You're so dumb.
I think they end up inside of a black hole.
Solid.
Inside of a black hole, and when they get there, they're like, "Oh, look, there's that thing. There's something in the distance," and they fly up onto this platform. That somehow Toyman got there, but Toyman is there. Toyman is there, and it turns out oh hey, look, there's lights in the distance, and they go off to it, and they get there. And it's a giant fucking pinball machine.
Oh my god!
It's very much like Super Friends. And I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I get this is a cartoon. I understand that I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief because it's superheroes and everything. There's a lot of problems with this plan. First of all, if if the gravity inside of this black hole is too much that they can't get out of there, which that becomes like a very apparent to them. It's like, oh, we can't fly. We're gonna have to run so we don't get hit by this giant pin. But anyway, so we don't get hit by this giant pinball. And so they can't fly out of there. So I'm like, all right, how's Toyman gonna get out of there? Also, how'd Toyman get that giant pinball machine sitting there in space? Also, how did Toyman get there in the first place? These are the questions I have.
Dude, there's been such a tone
There's too
shift
many questions,
in the
not
DC
enough
universe
Yes.
since, like, the past couple decades.
God, I love Super Friends. Love it to death.
I used
But
to
that
watch
was
that on Boomerang all the time.
God, it's
Boomerang.
it's so good and it's so cringy, and like the voices on Super Friends are like my favorite. It's
Really?
like it's Toyman. Like it's like this like almost pitched up version of Skeletor. Like they took Skeletor's voice and like pitched it up a little bit. Just
I'll hit you, He-Man.
and Riddler's voice is not much different.
Oh no.
But like, it's so funny. Oh
This
my
is
god.
The villain voice. This is the one I want.
But yeah, stay tuned for my new podcast, Your Daily Super Friends.
Is it just you watching Super Friends?
Yes, and me pointing out plot holes. I'm just sitting there eating cheeses. I'm like,
Like Shia
Oh,
LaBeouf
there it
watching
is.
all of his movies.
yes,
Crying at the end.
it's me sitting there eating cheeses. Just being like, how the fuck they get in that black hole? How they gonna get out? My favorite thing, last thing about Super Friends, I promise. Last thing
Are
about
you
Super
sure
Friends.
about that?
I'm pretty sure I've said that like 3 times so far. There are moments like with animation with Hawkman where they have like a close up of him that's like probably like chest up, right? But for whatever reason, his wings are gone. It's just like every now and then, like when they're far away, he's like, yeah, his wings are fire. There, fine, no worries. But then like every now and then they'll zoom up to like basically like chest high, and it's like wings gone. Like where you would very much like if it was like in real life and you were like looking at Hawkman, you would very much see at least part of his wings like behind him. But like so those random animation moments of
They didn't have
somebody forgot to do their job. Like oh god. Yeah. So that's Super Friends. I like Super Friends.
Oh yeah.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen that show.
Oh, it's so good, man. Y'all ready to move into news?
Absolutely.
Alright.
What do we have to talk about today?
We got several stories. First few of them are lighter, kind of just like information, not a lot to like talk about with it, but still worth talking about. First piece of news this week. It's been revealed who the first 2 DLC characters for Dragon Ball FighterZ is going to be.
Yes.
We got Bardock, father of Goku, and Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan.
Yes. I'm absolutely stoked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good addition to the game.
Why-
I mean,
why
more
weren't they
fighters
there
are
in the first
more fun.
place?
I mean,
Yeah. I'm just disappointed that it's not Master Roshi or Mr. Satan.
it's gonna come eventually.
Eventually.
Did you guys hear that there had been like a data mine like that people had done like actually like finding out who the DLC characters are
Really?
probably actually going to be?
Really.
Yeah, and like they're not on Master Roshi and Mr.
Oh,
Satan
really?
are not on there, and I'm real upset.
Do you know who was on the?
I remember 5 out of 6 of them. It's so Bardock and Broly being on there substantiates the information that people have gotten from this data mine. I remember that Bardock and Broly were on there. They're referring to him on there as base Goku and base Vegeta, which I don't like the way that's phrased because it sounds weird. But the concept of it basically being instead of like so when you pick Goku and Vegeta already as it is in the game, like they are Super Saiyan versions of themselves. This would be basically black-haired Goku and black-haired Vegeta. This would probably be like Vegeta when you first meet him when he first lands on Earth.
Okay.
I'm about it.
So like armor, like monkey tail still intact. Like Goku would basically be probably still be like king, like just learned like Kaioken and like shit like that. And then the other one that I remember is Cooler,
Good.
but I don't. Zaimasu, or is that his name? Guy who fuses with Goku Black.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not as well versed with Dragon Ball Z as I wished.
Same.
Like
I've seen about 3 episodes of Super, so
I have seen through the Frieza saga, and I understand plot points of
what happened.
and the Cell saga and the Boo saga, and I kind
Zero.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I never woke up that early on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
I'm more of a purist. I'm more of a Dragon Ball guy than a Dragon Ball Z guy.
it was one of those things where I wasn't really allowed to watch it when I was a kid, and then I didn't start watching it until I got to college, and basically the thing that sparked it was every now and then Microsoft does every year they do an anime sale, and I got the first complete season of Dragon Ball Z my freshman year for free.
Oh no.
They were giving that away, so I was like, okay, cool. This is my time. I'm going to watch it. And then they had at that time they still had all of the other seasons of Dragon Ball Z on Hulu, which they don't anymore, and I'm so mad. It's not on any of them. On Hulu you can watch Dragon Ball Original and Dragon Ball GT, but there's no Dragon Ball Z, no Dragon Ball Z Kai, no Super,
So none besides Dragon Ball, not the ones that matter.
Right. So what the fuck's up, Hulu?
Calling them out.
Yeah. So
this is a podcast.
This is a podcast. This is the Call Out podcast.
What you doing, honey?
So yeah, there hasn't been a release date or a price announced on how much Bardock and Broly will cost, but it's been confirmed that they'll be the first pieces of DLC for the game. So
nice.
Cool. I'll be happy to see how they change things up in that game. Seems like everybody's really enjoying Dragon Ball FighterZ, so it'd be cool to keep an eye on that. Next up, another kind of weird DLC
Yeah, I didn't
news.
see this one coming at all.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 15 is getting a Half-Life tie-in pack.
Wait, Half-Life 3?
Yeah,
What?
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
It's confirmed, guys. We made it.
15
Congratulations.
divisible by 3.
Oh my god.
Yes. Apparently, buying the game on Steam before May 1st will unlock a Half-Life pack, giving players access to Gordon Freeman's HEV suit, crowbar weapon, and glasses. Both Noctis and your comrade's multiplayer avatar can equip the items.
The Choco Bros. Yes.
God.
Wait.
That is such a weird tie-in.
It really is. I mean, they had Assassin's Creed as a tie-in too.
That
which
was really weird
pretty
too.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do y'all think about these tie-ins with Final Fantasy 15? Do you think they're just kind of out of place?
It's just gimmicky.
Yeah, I feel like it's gimmicky too.
Like I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Is
I-
it,
What?
is it like just the outfits?
Yeah, there's it doesn't seem like there's gonna be any like story related or like side missions or anything like that.
I feel bad
so
saying
strange.
this because I don't feel like Final Fantasy 15 is to the point of needing this, but it almost seems like a cry for relevancy.
Right.
Like, let's if we keep giving them tie-ins.
Is Valve hinting at something?
Half-Life 3?
Huh?
I really doubt it's gonna happen. They're just getting our hopes up at this point.
Nope.
I feel like Gabe Newell is just
When
kind of
did
like
Half-Life 2 come out?
dicking with us. Just
Half-Life 2?
Wasn't it
2000?
was
2004
it-
maybe?
it was
90
too long ago.
99?
That's not-
Half-Life 2?
Guess
Well,
what?
Well, like I remember Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out on the orange box for Xbox 360. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's fairly recent within the last gen of consoles.
Half-Life 2 released on November 18th, 2005.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like Half-Life 2, not Half-Life 2 Episode 2.
Yeah. I don't know. This
Wait,
just
what?
seems weird, kind of out of place for me. But I'm all for it. I'm also excited for Final Fantasy 15 to come to PC, having that 60 frames per second gameplay. It's going to be a really smooth experience. I know I played through a lot of Final Fantasy 15. I believe you did as well on PS4. And it was a good game. It just there were some technical issues with it that I felt like kind of pushed the PS4 to its limits.
Mm-hmm.
They've been supporting the hell out of that game since it came
Yeah,
out.
I've noticed that they have a VR game for it. They have multiplayer. They have like
They have
plethora of other
does it
DLC?
have super hot?
does it have super hot?
as in like super
hot.
super.
That's gonna
hot.
be a,
No, it has one better. It has horse armor.
Let's wrap.
Hey, Superhot is going to be one of the Xbox Live games.
Yes,
that's
it
gold
is.
next
Yeah,
month. I am so excited for that.
I'm super excited for that. Yeah. Just throw this out. No. Yeah, so it's a weird thing. I'm happy to see that Final Fantasy 15 is getting so much love and support post-launch, but it's like it's been around for a little bit now. When
Came out November of 2016.
So yeah, we're coming up. No, not coming up, but like probably about a year and a couple months. They've got more DLC coming out. Yeah, they put out those different story packs with Gladio, Prompto, Ignis. They got the Comrades multiplayer pack that came out. They've got VR. Yeah, they got the deep sea fishing VR thing. They've got another DLC coming out for it where you play as the bad guy whose name is escaping me right now. What's his name? Red hair.
I think it's
Arden?
Arden.
No?
I think so.
Wow.
They have a DLC for there, and there's also talk that there's going to be another DLC where you get to play as Luna Freya.
Oh. Wow.
So, it's on one hand, I'm like, it's cool to see like all this DLC coming out for this game, but part of me wonders like, was this originally planned to go with it at launch? Like,
that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like they're just, what can we do now?
Yeah, I kind of feel like with the game, there was so much hype around it whenever it was first announced, because it was first announced in 2006 as kind of like, not necessarily an expansion, but it took place inside of the Nova Crystallis saga for Final Fantasy 13. But then they ended up making it into its own game. So it makes you think, like, are they trying to expand it more like they did with Final Fantasy 7? And if so, are they going to try to milk it more? And is it going to get to that point to where it's like, okay, maybe... Because a few other series have done that too. First series that comes to mind is Persona 4. It came out a lot of spin-offs from a very serious game to one where you're just dancing.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I guess we're going to have to wait and find out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy to see games getting extra content, but you can't always suffer that extra content for the original game.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of games coming out right now, they don't feel complete.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can have a lot built up for it, but if you're just going to release it as DLC, it's kind of turning me off from the game. As a poor college student.
Unless it's free DLC.
Unless
I'm
it's
okay
free
with
DLC.
free DLC.
Yeah.
Free DLC is alright.
But what if you don't have internet like this one?
Yeah. What about me?
And the artist of the Angel starts playing.
Tristan, to your point, talking about thinking if they're going to milk it like kind of like how they did with Final Fantasy VII, I feel like the way that they kind of did that was they had a pretty I want to say almost iconic main character in Cloud. Do you personally think that Noctis is as iconic of a character as Cloud, or do you think it's
as iconic? I've played through Final Fantasy 15. I've played through majority of Final Fantasy 17. I've seen a lot of spin-off.
7?
Yes.
17.
Sorry.
You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
This is it. We got inside news. fuck 16. We're going on to 17.
What about Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows
8.1,
and Windows 10?
Yes.
What about iPhone 8 to iPhone 10?
God.
Right.
All right.
Don't you mean the iPhone X? It's Metal Gear
That's
Solid
a
V,
wrap.
Tristan.
But I don't know. In a way, Noct kind of seems kind of two-dimensional to me at times.
Fair.
He's just... There's not as much substance as I would say Cloud, because with Cloud you get much more of a backstory in that aspect, and he has layers to him. He felt kind of real as opposed to not.
They have layers.
The same thing. You.
I saw you look at
I knew somebody was gonna say it, and it wasn't gonna be me.
But yeah,
So the
that's
three
just, that's
things
just
that's
what I
like-
think.
Triggered.
Ogres, onions, and Cloud Strife.
That's just what I think on the matter. But
Yeah, I think maybe something that Final Fantasy VII kind of had going for it in comparison to 15 is that you're talking about like with backstory with Cloud, all that stuff was already baked into the game, and I feel like a lot of the backstory that went with 15 you were kind of forced to figure out on your own through like extra stuff like a full movie like a full movie or the short anime series or through I don't know comics.
The King's Tale, the little pixelated game.
I played that. That was fun.
Cute.
It was cool.
But let's not sleep on Final Fantasy movies. Advent Children's wonderful.
Oh no, I have nothing against them. It's just like that wasn't something that was inherently already baked into.
Yeah, for in case have you played Final Fantasy 15?
No.
Okay, so it starts you off kind of in the middle of a war that's going on, but it doesn't explain the war. It doesn't explain what's going on. It doesn't explain. Not a spoiler. There's a big wedding going on between Noct and Lady Ludifreya. You don't know anything about it. You have to watch the movie that came out, Kingsglaive, which is a pretty good movie in and of itself. It's not the best thing ever.
It's that you have to watch it.
You kind of have to watch it or you're going to be confused.
It's kind of like, I know this isn't video game related necessarily, but I've been keeping up with the news about Tokyo Ghoul Season 3. I'm a big fan of that, and the creators basically said in order to have a solid grasp of what's going on, you should read the manga up to that point because they're more or less scrapping what they did in Season 2.
Fun.
Yeah.
I actually got Tokyo that same way that I got Dragon Ball Z for Season for free. I got Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 for free.
Season 1 is phenomenal. Season 2 is not.
I've never watched it, so
you should.
I will once I get internet back.
But
fair point, my dude. It's gonna retcon that statement.
Yeah.
But yeah, Final Fantasy 15. It's just they fixed a lot of the issues from what I've heard. I played the game whenever it first came out. I logged about 60 hours into it, completing the story. I felt like the story was fine. There were some parts where they weren't as strong, but I heard they fixed a lot of them. So I don't know.
Doesn't it have a mobile game too?
Yeah, they just got Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. Just came out.
And then I've seen
they're not milking it, guys.
The tower defense Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
A World Reborn or whatever.
Yeah,
They're not milking it, guys.
There's a lot of like DS things too in the little store, like the little song game.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen it too.
Theme Rhythmics or something like that.
Theorhythm.
Something like that.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know.
I played the demo for it.
Yeah,
let's talk about this next one.
Yes. So moving on to the next story.
The juiciest.
Hideo Kojima, blessed be his name.
Death Stranding news.
Oh, so
Troy Baker and Emily O'Brien have been confirmed that they are joining the cast.
God.
Okay, so I'm familiar with Troy Baker. Emily O'Brien, what is...
She's... Oh, God, what is she?
What are some big roles that she's played as?
Go to...
Time to Google.
I had this pulled up earlier because I was reading it.
Death Stranding?
Wait, I'm sorry, what was your question, Jackie?
Oh, wait, never mind. I remember. Okay.
Yeah.
How can you describe Death Stranding?
God.
She's done some Telltale.
She
did Telltale work with Batman: The Enemy Within.
Okay.
What is it?
Bless you.
Oh, she's also a movie actress, apparently.
Yeah, she's been in a couple movies. Nothing I've really heard.
The one that popped up on Google was the 2016 film entitled The Bad Bitch.
Oh,
there you go.
All right. Well, the bad bitch is now going to be a voice actress in Death
She's also
Stranding.
in The Bigfoot Project.
Nice.
The Young and the Restless.
Let's talk about Death Stranding for a second.
Yes.
Okay.
What the hell is this game about?
That is the big question. That's
Have y'all
The
seen-
topic of my thesis that will eventually kill me. What the fuck is Death Stranding?
Have y'all seen all the articles though about Death Stranding? the dev team, after they've been working on the game and they've had Kojima explain everything to them, and
They don't understand
yeah,
it.
reporters were like, "Okay, so what's the game about?" And they're like, "We have no fucking clue."
Dude, fucking Mads Mikkelsen is in this game. He's one of the main actors in this game. He doesn't know what the story's about.
Guillermo del Toro, one of the most fucked up people to exist, is like, yeah, I've got no idea.
Yeah.
And he's in the game, like, his likeness appears.
They're all like, yeah, I don't understand what's going on with this game, but I respect and believe in Kojima-san enough that I'm not going to question what he says.
Yes, Sony's CEO has played parts of Death Stranding, and he's like, I don't know if I get it, but I like it.
Like, isn't that kind of how Metal Gear is, honestly?
But at least, like, Metal Gear, you can kind of be like, you can follow it, like, inch by inch. You just be like, okay, we are an army guy, and we are going in, and, okay, some weird fucking shit's going on. Some anime bullshit is going on. That's Metal Gear Solid is an anime. That is...
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue with that.
I mean, Kojima loves anime.
My favorite thing about Death Stranding is the subreddit for Death Stranding. It's full of theories and people just going,
I imagine
That's right.
that entire subreddit is just people that look like Charlie Day in front of that conspiracy theory board. He's just like, okay, now follow me on this one. That's what it all looks like. I mean, like, there have been some Kojima gave a interview with IGN after the Game Awards happened. And he explained a couple of little things about Death Stranding. and like, some of it's really cool, and I'm like, okay, I can follow that. But some of it is just like, he's still holding the cards very close to his chest. One of them is has everybody seen the third trailer for Death Stranding?
The 8-minute trailer.
The one that's
I
like,
have not.
Okay.
Have not. I didn't know it existed until today. I wasn't aware that a trailer had come out.
God.
It dropped like 2 months ago. It's a ride. It's really weird. Like,
it's one of those.
It's a roller coaster.
God, it's one of those things that every time something new comes out about it, I feel like I know less about what it's about.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Gets done watching.
Why
trailer.
is Norman Reedus holding this baby? Why are these things after him?
the trickiest part was like in the trailer when like it zooms in like down his throat and the baby's there.
Yes.
And it's just like, and then
Yes.
it zooms back out. I'm like,
Here. Hold on. Swank, I'm going to give you my phone. You're going to go in the other room and watch this trailer, and you're going to come back, okay?
I will go with him.
I will pause this video. When we come back, Tristan and... Actually, they're not going to go anywhere. We're going to all sit here and watch this fucking trailer. And when we come back, we're going to talk about this goddamn trailer. All right. We are back. We are watched the Death Stranding trailer, the third one from the Game Awards. And again, I say, what the fuck is this game?
I have no idea what the game is
know.
about.
I know
think more
less
than we
now
did
that I've
before.
seen the trailer again.
But Kojima Senpai has not let me down yet, and I refuse to believe that this will start that.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
So Kojima has given away a few things about what the game has as far as elements, and you kind of like see some of it in this in the third trailer. Like, for example, the rain in the universe of Death Stranding is this weird thing called timefall. It's this weird thing that's somehow something has happened in this universe where the rain, when it touches organic material, causes it to rapidly age.
Neat.
Yeah, cool. That's why they're all wearing the garb and like
I don't understand that either, though.
That's also why you see like
Kojima.
that's why you see like the body like kind of like disappear out of like existence because like
It was getting rained on.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like just
The guy that was trapped, like once the guy on top of him had moved away, it kind of looked like his hair.
Yeah,
was
his
started,
hair.
Like, going
yeah, he was
away.
starting to age and he also has revealed what the significance of that underwatery ocean thing is. That's your game over screen.
Nice.
Anytime you die, you show back up in that oceanic kind of thing, and that's a fully explorable area.
Yeah, I
Oh,
heard
neat.
it's kind of like the purgatory
Exactly.
of the world.
So you are there, and to basically continue, what you do is you swim down to your body, and you go back into it, and you start right where you left off, but the world has changed since you died.
Oh, cool.
So it's a really, really weird fucking thing. Kojima.
I'm really excited for Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus.
Yes.
I'm taking this away from you.
This needs to be stopped.
That is not an original joke. Thank you, Reddit.
But yeah, I'm sure we will probably be getting a... That game is coming out this year. If it doesn't, I'll be surprised. I'm sure we will probably be getting a release date for that at E3.
Absolutely.
As well as finally maybe a little bit of... The fuck is this?
Maybe a little bit of, yes, Mr. Kojima, sir, can you tell us I don't know anything about this game?
It's that moment. It's just a moment where Kojima's like, dude, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Like, dude,
I've just been kind of rolling with it.
you gave me how much money? Okay, yeah, sure, I'll make up some bullshit about
I'm here for a good time.
You
not
told
a
me
long
you
time.
wanted me to make a game with Norman Reedus in it. Is that not what you got?
I got
Norman
Guillermo del
Reedus.
Toro in on this. What the fuck else you want?
I can just imagine that conversation. Hideo Kojima calling Guillermo del Toro. Hey, so Konami let me go and Sony picked me up. You want to make a game?
I imagine that call is just like, yeah, so the check cleared. Let's go.
Green light.
I remember the conversation I was having earlier today about Death Stranding. Sony, whenever they were discussing how much they wanted to pick up Kojima for, they had him on one phone and Marvel on the other.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you want to come here? 60 million? Okay. We'll sell you all the Spider-Man for 60 million.
Yeah, you can have it. God dang. So yeah, Troy Baker and Emily O'Brien joining the cast of Death Stranding.
Great.
Maybe
Cool.
they'll know what's going on.
Probably not.
I love Troy Baker, so
He's great.
I'm on board. I was already on board, but now I'm even more on board.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. In
Ne-
lighter news.
Next news story: the Super Mario Odyssey Balloon World update is out now.
Cool.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a mini game that activate. It's free. It's completely free. It's just through an update for the game. It adds in a little mini game where Luigi is finally in Mario Odyssey. You go and you talk to him on various worlds, and he basically is like, "Hey, you want to play the game?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Apparently,
Hey, cousin,
Yeah.
let's go bowling.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Like, cousin, let's go bowling.
apparently he judges your outfits.
Yes, yeah. You
Yeah.
show up to Luigi with different outfits on. He makes comments on it, like show up in the wedding dress. He's like, "Oh, brother, I didn't know you were getting married." Yeah, it's pretty dumb, but I love it.
Luigi's my kind of bro.
But basically, the minigame ends up being one of those things where it's like you can either choose to hide or seek, and it's you take a balloon and you you have like a certain amount of time to get to any location that you want and place that balloon. And if you want to seek it, then you have to figure out how to get to said balloon in that certain amount of time.
Oh, cool.
So it really is a big focus on like how good are you at the platforming controls in Mario Odyssey. So that's pretty much what the gimmick of the game is. So it's neat. Yeah, it can't beat free.
Even if
No.
it's bad, at least you didn't spend money on it.
Exactly. Also, you get there's new outfits.
There's
There's
Johnny's Pizza.
there's one.
Sorry.
What? There's one outfit on here that, I shit you not, makes Mario look like he's a knight from Dark Souls.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So that's good. And then there's the other thing that comes with this update is new filters for the snapshot mode, which I like that snapshot mode a lot. I'm not one for the really like take pictures in game and like edit shit, but that's a good one.
That was one of the best parts of Wind Waker,
Yeah.
was taking selfies with the bosses as they were trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Or the picture mode in Final Fantasy 15.
Have y'all
Beautiful
played
pictures.
with the going to the photo place in Pokemon?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
There
No.
are stickers.
Oh my god.
And you like pose your Pokemon.
It's very much so a I can't think of the right word for it, but you can tell what kind of mechanic it's going to be as you go into it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's one of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's fun.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of their way of bringing back the what were they in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald? The Pokemon.
Oh, the beauty contest.
Yeah, beauty contest. That's what it was. It's kind of like their way of bringing that back.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But it's like, you go and you do the first trial, and you come back, and they're like, you should go to the photo thing and take a photo with your Pokemon. Because you won. And you need stickers.
Basically. It's adorable.
Fair enough. Moving on to the next story. Overwatch League Stage 2 play has started.
Nice.
I'm
really liking how much Overwatch League has taken off into its own esports.
I've been
love
waiting
it.
for something like this to start.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't sooner.
And of course, leave it to Blizzard to be the one to actually be the ones to start that.
Speaking of Blizzard, did y'all see that bullshit on the Overwatch Twitter account with Let Zen Walk?
Yes.
What?
So
There was a sign at an Overwatch League match of a guy was holding a sign, and the sign said "Let Zen Walk." So the Play Overwatch Twitter account, which I want to say is run by Blizzard,
yeah, it's the official
it
Overwatch
had
Twitter
just
account.
released a video with the caption K, and it was that guy holding a sign, and then an animation they did in game of Zenyatta walking, and it's gross.
It's like instead of Zenyatta floating like he normally
his
does,
feet are like
he
this,
just
and
goes.
just
He's like his feet go like this, like.
Oh my god!
It's
Yes.
Ugh.
That's beautiful.
It's one of those things like maybe
it's like
don't make him walk.
They didn't change the position of his legs at all. They just
They just
uncrossed
take
them and
them.
put them down.
That's weird.
It's funny.
It's gross.
Could someone volunteer to let me play? Because I've never played.
Once we get internet back, I'll let you.
Okay.
You can play on my account. So Stage 2 play has started. London Spitfire won Stage 1. And now that we're in Stage 2, ESPN, actually, which, first of all, I think it's very cool that ESPN has started covering esports.
Yeah, ESPN, they were kind of... I remember whenever esports was first talked about, they weren't really big into it, but now there's, channels dedicated to it on their ESPN TV network.
Definitely. And they have their whole own section on ESPN's website, too.
Yeah.
For esports. But they actually put out their power rankings like they do with college teams for the Overwatch League, and so I thought we'd go ahead and go through what those power rankings are. So at number 1 we have New York Excelsior. 2 is London Spitfire, which these two have not changed at all. Right. Excelsior and Spitfire were number 1 and 2 respectively in Stage 1 play too as well.
Spitfire has a solid team.
Spitfire came back from pulled a reverse sweep to win the Stage 1 championship. They were down 2 maps.
Yeah,
they were down 2 maps. The Excelsior needed 1 more map to win the whole thing, and then Spitfire pulled a 3-game win streak and won.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was there's a Smash 4 tournament I was watching. I can't remember the name of the player, but he had won through the entire tournament, pretty much undefeated. And then in the grand finals, he got 3-0'd.
Dang.
Yeah, by the guy that went through the losers bracket.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of, I don't know if y'all watch Dota at all, or the international this past year, Team Liquid. They got out. They were moved down to the losers bracket in their first round, and they won all the way through the losers bracket and won the whole damn thing.
The other side of that happened to me in a local Smash Bros. Tournament back home. A guy I beat in the first round came back and beat
you in the finals.
Yeah,
damn,
it was depressing.
Oh my god.
So we got 1 as New York Excelsior, 2 London Spitfire, 3 Houston Outlaws, 4 Seoul Dynasty, 5 Boston Uprising, 6 Los Angeles Valiant, 7 Philadelphia Fusion, 8 Dallas Fuel, 9 Los Angeles Gladiators, 10 San Francisco Shock, 11 Florida Mayhem, and number 12 Shanghai Dragons. Yeah, Shanghai went winless in stage 1 play.
Before any of the plays started, I decided to go ahead and just like put, not like, of course, physical bets, but hey, I want these teams to do well, and Shanghai was one of them, and it just didn't happen.
Nah. Yeah. My dad's family is from Massachusetts, so by extension, I am a fan of all the Massachusetts teams. So the Patriots, the Celtics, the Bruins, the Red Sox, and so figure I'd go with going with it. Boston Uprising has been my team for this, and I've been following them. They're a very solid middle of the road team at this point. Like they have pulled upsets, and they have also lost to like teams like you should not have lost that match.
Austin and I are both Dallas Fuel guys. I bought my Junkrat skin.
Yeah, I got my Zenyatta skin, so I feel invested.
Yeah, the same.
Have you all checked the current rankings? The game started on Wednesday. As of current, the first game was between Seoul and Valor? Valiant. So it was 4-0, winning Seoul. Dallas and Shanghai. Dallas 3-1.
Nice.
Gladiators.
San Francisco.
Gladiators 4-0. Houston and London. Houston 3-2. New York and Florida. New York 3-1.
Nice.
Boston and Philadelphia. Philadelphia 4-0.
Oh fuck.
Ooh.
That's
of
upsetting.
Today's matches: London and New York. London 3-2. Dallas and the Gladiators. Dallas 3-1.
Hell yeah.
Right now, San Francisco and Seoul are playing. Checking the current match.
It's not gone far enough.
Yeah, it's ongoing, I believe.
It must have just started.
Yeah. Give me one moment.
I really love the things that they have implemented with Overwatch League, just kind of like standardizing esports in a way, like because like basically if those who are watching / listening don't really know anything about esports has kind of been like in a way a wild west for a while now, you know, in the sense of like there are esports teams, but they kind of have everybody has their own like standard of things. Wait, okay, back up. Esports teams and organizations are pretty much umbrella brands, and you'll have different teams put up for specific games. So you don't have the same people playing every single kind of game out there. You have a version of X team playing for.
Like, Cloud9's a good example.
Cloud9 is a great example of, like, you'll have a Cloud9 team who plays Dota, as well as a Cloud9 team who plays Overwatch.
They have their investments into League and Smash 4 as well.
Exactly. So they have people who they will brand. So you'll basically always have a Cloud9 in whatever esport you're playing, but it's not the same players. Another thing that's really been really hard about esports in the past is that your salary is based on winnings of tournaments. And there's no healthcare, there's no guaranteed salary. It's all based on, hey, if you want to get paid, you better fucking win this tournament.
So
like,
what you're telling me is that the members of the Shanghai Dragons aren't very well off right now.
Well, so the thing, the difference is that that's what's been so great about Overwatch League is that a requirement to have an Overwatch League team, you have to guarantee your players a salary.
Oh, neat.
So everybody who is playing in the Overwatch League,
I take that back.
That's what's so great about this is that I think everybody who is playing in Overwatch League has a guaranteed salary of $50,000 a year.
Oh, nice.
That is a guaranteed salary with increases with increases as well as health insurance and vacation and time, like just the way. The same way that like a regular a physical sports player.
Real sports.
Real sport.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
The ongoing game is between San Francisco and Seoul. It's currently 1-1 in the middle of game 3 of 4. They are
I love
playing on
Overwatch League.
Hollywood.
It's great.
Yeah.
I need to watch more of it.
Same. I actually just started downloading the app.
once we get internet back, we should just all hang out and watch the games.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
everybody come over. We're gonna watch Overwatch League.
Make it like football Sundays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Don't sue me. So yeah, that's really all that needs to be said about Overwatch League. There.
Audio gets muted on YouTube by the NFL.
Yes. Fuck. So now we move into the fun topics.
I'm gonna step out for this one.
I say fun in a very, very loose term.
Ugh.
So,
If you don't like politics, turn the video off now.
before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and my plan is to read through this first topic and then read the second topic as well because they're related to each other, and then we'll go into a conversation from there. We are going to try to stay as politically neutral as possible. That's the plan anyway. But we are not afraid. We are not going to be afraid to call people on bullshit when they are speaking bullshit. That said, I'm going to read you about this first topic. Earlier this week, President Trump started blaming video games and movies as potential causes of youth violence. The exact quote is, "I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts." And then you go the step further, and that's the movies. You see these movies, and they're so violent, and yet a kid is able to see the movie if sex isn't involved, but killing is involved. And maybe they have to put a rating system for that. And this is not the first time that President Trump has made a comment like that, but the first time that he made said tweet, when he made said comment about that, he wasn't president at the time. They tweeted about it back in 2012 saying, quote, "Video game violence and glorification must be stopped. It's creating monsters." And so that's kind of the first topic, and that kind of leads into a little bit of this second topic that we're discussing. Excuse me. A representative from Rhode Island has proposed a raising in tax of M-rated games. Said this would fund mental health provisions in schools. Basically, it's from Representative Robert Nordalillo. I probably apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. He's a Republican from Rhode Island. It would increase the tax on M-rated games by 10%. He's been quoted as saying, "There's evidence that children exposed to violent video games at a young age tend to act more aggressively than those who are not." End quote. Another quote he said is, "The bill would give schools the additional resources needed to help students deal with that aggression in a positive way." So the thing about these quotes that this representative, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name again because I'm probably butchering it. The quote that he said first, "There is evidence that children exposed to violent video games at a young age tend to act more aggressively than those who are not." He made this quote, but then wasn't able to provide a source that backed up his claim. And then there was another. I got this article from IGN, and in that article they also said that the United States Secret Service also did a research study about this, and they found that less than 20% of school shooters played violent video games. So also another thing that they pointed out in that article is, and I didn't put it in the rundown about this, but the representative in question also has a 93% approval rating from the NRA. That just little something that was in the article that I thought I'd go ahead and bring this up. So the question now becomes for us to discuss. Well, that's not really much of a question. I don't know how to phrase this really. It's like, because I want to ask y'all, do you think video games and movies are causing youth to be violent?
These studies have been done already. The money's already been spent on the research.
20 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been done, like, there's been extensive research done on this.
I agree with one part of, and like there's only one part of any of these quotes I agree with, and it's the quote from President Trump about kids being able to see movies of sex isn't involved, but violence is. I do agree with that.
Yeah,
that is kind of, for lack of a better term, fucked up in a way that sex and violence are viewed on such like a different seriousness
And
level.
it's not even like a restricted thing. You could turn your TV easily on AMC at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and see somebody's head cut off.
Yeah, Walking Dead.
In the
Breaking
Walking
Bad,
Dead,
like-
exactly. So I know in a lot of other countries, people look down upon violence and not so much nudity because they view it as a more natural thing and it's not too gratuitous. They don't look at things in such a sexual manner. It's just interesting how we as a country view that.
But the difference here, like, I kind of feel a little attacked in this. Like, I had, and I guess kind of still do in a way, have had anger problems growing up, and I think if anything, my liking of more aggressive video games has helped me, like, circumvent those issues.
Right.
I don't feel remotely inclined to harm anybody.
No.
It's go ahead. It's just one of those things that leaves me flabbergasted that people still have this mentality, right? That we are in 2018 and the thought that, oh well, it's what could possibly be the thing
Those
that's
kids
going.
and them damn
It's
video
those
games.
damn violent video games.
Like,
even
I
like
guess
Trump,
more-
like Trump suggests even in this thing that he says that like maybe there needs to be a rating system for that. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's suggesting a
There
rating.
is, though.
Maybe he's suggesting that there needs to be another rating system on top of the rating systems that are already in existence. To me, that doesn't make any kind of sense.
No.
I think we should direct him towards the ESRB. Maybe they can help him.
Yeah.
See, to me, like all of these like video games and stuff are more like channels rather than like influencers.
Yeah, I get pissed
Like,
off. I'm gonna pop in a good hack and slash, mash X, mow down hordes of enemies,
like-
and feel better about myself.
Some of the best games I've had of Call of Duty are when I'm just mad,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel fine after that. But I feel like like blaming violent video games, it's a scapegoat into something that's
Exactly.
actually the problem. People have been arguing since like the Columbine shootings that they were both allegedly Doom players at the time. And I mean, I can see why people think that. And with our culture right now, people have become I can't say the word, but
Desensitized.
yes,
yeah.
but to violence. And I mean, yeah, I can see that, but it's normal on TV now. But we haven't seen an uprise in like that kind of violence all across the board. Yes, there is violence happening, but I don't think it's video games that are the problem.
Yeah.
If less than 20% of like the perpetrators of these incidents are playing these violent video games, then it's clearly not the problem. What's the other 80% doing?
Exactly.
Is it mental health problems that need to be addressed earlier on? Is it like the FBI and it can look into like our private data? They can find stuff that can lead into these shootings. With the Florida shooter, he apparently posted a comment on YouTube saying, "One day I'm going to be a professional school shooter." The FBI caught on to that, but they didn't do anything about it because our privacy laws kind of prevent from doing that. So it all goes about how do we address these things rather than blaming something for
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's
like kids, like when my dad was growing up, kids used to play war all the time, like outside. Like they would act like they're shooting guns at each other. If you did that nowadays, like people would call the cops on you.
Yeah.
like
Like
it's such a no one wants to talk about the issue. Everyone wants to find things to put the pin on. And like
And to drop the issue.
yeah, like I'm not going to get too much into my personal opinion of this, but I have a pretty middle of the road approach when it comes to guns, and I will say like that's what we need to be talking about.
Right.
Is not bans, but
who
ways-
needs to be owning guns and
not
using
so
them?
much who. Well, I mean, I guess it is who, but how we decide to let people buy guns. That's what we need to talk about, not video games, in my opinion.
Right.
To kind of like, I guess, steer this back to the video games and rated M video games, it was Rhode Island representatives were talking about a tax increase for rated M games. I don't agree with the tax itself. I believe that at that point, it's the parents' decision. If they're talking about kids playing video games, that's the parents' job to regulate that, not the government.
Absolutely.
Because there's an age restriction in general for it. Now, as far as taxes going towards mental health,
I'm all for that.
I'm all for that. Maybe not with video games, though.
But like, why aren't they doing that already?
Exactly.
'Cause these things should be funded anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
And I feel like that in itself could go a long way. I mean,
And like-
obviously...
And like, yes, like in the grand scheme of things, like from the last 50, 60 years, yeah, we've come light years in mental health research, but the fact of the matter is we're not doing enough. That's where I see it.
I do.
Yeah.
Like, my mom is she teaches in a public school as a special needs teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she does not get nearly enough help than she needs.
No.
Like,
And
a lot of these kids need more help. Like,
And
they need more funding to buy the stuff.
exactly,
that
and
gives
that's
them the
where
help
it
they
needs
need.
to go. And people are talking about providing funding to arm teachers. Most teachers I know, like my sister's an elementary school teacher, most teachers I know, her included, they don't want to be armed in their classroom.
for somebody who
Use
is...
that funding on like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to get that thought out.
No,
before you-
for
Yeah.
somebody who is right now going to school to want to be a teacher, I don't want to have to worry about defending my students in that way. No one should have to worry about defending their students
Yeah, like,
in that
I
way.
want to have a safe job. Like, I don't want to have to go to school and be like, oh, am I going to have to jump in
Is
front of some
to-
kids today?
Yeah,
Like,
is today the day I'm gonna have to pull out my school-funded gun?
Exactly. Like, it seems like such backwards thinking, honestly, and I feel like
You don't
funding
have to
for-
stop the issue if the issue is prevented
Yeah.
before it happens.
But we also need to find a way to protect people in case this happens again.
that's very true.
Like I don't want all the teachers to be armed, but if it's coming to that, I'd rather feel safe with the
Mhm.
teachers
Yeah.
that are trained to do that.
And maybe what schools can do is poll their faculty and
Make it a case-by-case basis.
yeah, maybe that would be a
Yeah, I feel like if like at the high school I went to, we had mostly coaches and like older and tougher men who were teachers and some ex-military guys.
mhm.
I would trust them with a weapon in the classroom because they have proper weapon
Yeah.
discipline.
my
And I know they would protect in those situations.
my physics teacher was a Marine.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, like, but not all situations are like
Yeah.
that, and it's just kind of this gray area. Like, I don't know. I kind of have a middle ground in this. Like, I don't think we should have to arm our teachers, but it's coming to that,
Yeah.
and people are worried about kids getting shot in the classroom, but. If it's an actual teacher that cares about their job and cares about their students, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
like that shouldn't be an issue we have to talk about regularly in the freest country in the world, quote unquote.
Yep.
We shouldn't. You shouldn't have to. Parents shouldn't have to worry sending their kids off to school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hate being the guy that says something like this, but it really does make you wonder if you want to bring kids into a world like this.
Absolutely.
But I don't
Yeah.
know.
But video games are not.
Video
It-
games.
it's
do
not- It's not the
If,
issue.
if the video game is leading the kid to make violent decisions,
There's a
then
different cause.
The issue is
Yeah.
pre-existing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could. It's
it would
pretty
be
much.
feeding those tendencies at that point.
Yeah.
But that also falls on the parents. Like,
Exactly.
if their parents know that their kids have violent tendencies, they shouldn't give them a
All
M-rated
of the
video
people
game.
that knew the shooter from Parkland, whenever it happened, they said they weren't surprised. Then why the fuck did it happen?
I mean, they had tipped off the FBI about him
Yeah.
already multiple times, and nobody followed through with it.
Maybe it's just a matter of crashing down more.
Yeah.
That's inexcusable. Like,
Yeah.
But the flip
completely
side of that, it's like
unacceptable.
we want like the government to be able to crack down on things like this, but we also don't want the government to invade our own privacy online.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
way I
And-
look at it, I'm a legal gun owner. I haven't, committed any felonies, and I know I'm in right mind to own a firearm. So why should I be worried about imposing stricter background checks. Like, if you know you are perfectly safe to own a gun, then why are you wanting to stop these measures of background checks and preventions?
Well, that's the thing, is that there's been surveys done that have shown that like about 80% of gun owners are okay with common sense gun reform.
Yeah,
Like, and gun control. Like,
this happened during Obama's presidency. My parents are in gun sale business, so I keep up with a lot of this. Of the 2 background check laws Obama imposed before he left office, when they were put up anonymously, like on a website, like, hey, what do you think of these laws? They got almost a unanimous approval, but they got shot down when he introduced them. It's all up to the people in the image.
exactly. The National Rifle Association is a very powerful entity.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of money, and they are willing to fund people who are sympathetic to what they stand for. So it's very hard to fight the NRA on things. But video games are not the problem. That's really all I have to say about that. Like, kind of like what we were kind of comes back to is that the ESRB has a rating system for a purpose, and any place that you are purchasing, obviously with a increasingly digital world, it's a lot easier to purchase M-rated games without the approval of a parent or guardian.
Anyone can click a checkbox. That
Exactly.
says,
Yes, I am 18 or 17. Like,
I'm 13
growing up,
up.
like, we grew up all during the era of physical games up until
yeah, I got to go to GameStop, and if I want this
I
M-rated
gotta go to
game,
Oh, dude, when I turned 17,
Yeah.
that was like the best day
it's
of
the
my
most
life.
liberating feeling. I'm going to go and buy Assassin's Creed my own damn self.
I didn't, like, my parents were a little on the
Like,
stricter
crap,
side, and I
like
thank them
69
for it
cents.
now, but, like, I don't think I played my first T-rated video game until I was 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch my first PG-13 movie until I was around the same age. Like, but that, I don't want to say control, but parents having that watch over their children, like what you're saying with the digital age, it's just getting harder and harder for them to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And some of them don't care anymore.
It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
It's all very, very gray, but when it comes to this kind of thing, studies have shown that violent video games do not equal violent people.
The studies have been done saying, I'm hearing more and more people, or there's evidence. But if you can't back it, and there's studies that say the exact opposite that you can pull up with a Google search, it's not much of a
And
contest
people
in
will
what to
complain
believe, in
fake
my opinion.
news.
That I was about to say, this is what the definition of fake news is.
Yeah.
But
What a twisted world we live in.
Yeah.
it's fucked.
What
But
is this place?
man,
Enjoy your video games.
but man, oh man, am I glad to be able to play video games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, we have the right to
2018,
play
definitely.
whatever fucking video game we want.
Yeah.
Like, if I
And that's-
want to play Doom,
And
You
that's
can
what's
play
so
them
great.
and not understand them.
Right.
You can
That's
play it
fair.
on the Switch portable now.
And that's what's great about America is that, like, America has the of all the other countries in the world has the freest video game laws too. Like, there are places, I think it's either Australia or New Zealand, and I can't remember for the life of me which one of it has very strict
Yeah.
video game laws.
I think
Like,
it's
they're
New Zealand, but I'm not
like-
certain.
That's weird.
it's very odd, but like
Oh.
Grand Theft Auto is not allowed there.
Really?
Yeah, you cannot purchase that game.
Real quick,
That's
you
so
mentioned it,
strange.
Doom on Switch. I wanted to talk about. I was reading an article about that, and apparently it like revitalized Doom gameplay, being able to use the
Great.
Joy-Cons for motion controls.
Yeah,
Everyone's raving about it. Apparently, it once again breathes life into Doom.
Yes.
which is that game's good. Play Doom.
Yes.
Play video games.
If you're over
don't
17,
shoot a school, play video games.
Please don't shoot a school. Just play video games.
go for a run, write,
There are
Mhm.
positive
Draw.
ways to get anger out.
make music.
Also,
My favorite.
if you're having any kind of you're feeling depressed or feel like there's no one to talk to, go seek out a professional for their help,
Or your friends.
or your friends, family. Talk to someone. Don't keep it bottled up.
You can even seek out video games. I've done it before.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Pick up a good old copy of Mario Odyssey and just let it out.
There are some games that, like, especially those that are, like...
Plug in your favorite Dynasty Warriors game, set the controller down, and go...
No, there are some games that are very, very narrative-heavy that, like when I've been in, like, really super stressed out times or very, like... Good job. Where I've been super stressed out or super, like, an emotional place where I've sat down and played these games, and I just wept. Like, I was like, I heard of that game called That Dragon Cancer.
No, I don't believe.
It's a narrative game based on the experiences of a father as he lived through the portion of his life where his young son was diagnosed with cancer. And it is... I watched, like, the first hour. So it's probably about a 3-hour game. I watched the first hour of it on Kind of Funny Games channel on YouTube, and there's a moment in there where it's got some abstract moments in it, but it's got like actual like real conversations that happened like in it, and there's some abstract moment. They show up at the hospital, and they're in one of the rooms in the hospital, and they're looking around, and there's all these cards in there, and you open it up, and there are all these just individual like messages like, so and so, I miss you every day, like, and every single one of them, and there's like a whole bunch of them in that room.
And what's the title of this game?
That Dragon Cancer. That Dragon, Cancer. That's all in that first room, and then you walk out into the hallway, and it looks like a normal like hospital, and there's cards all over the shelves, hanging from the ceiling, all over the place. You can read each and every one of them. And I was watching this the other day, and I just like tears like streaming down my face. Man. It's just like one of those things you just don't like think about, like how many people like you look at the ages of some of these people, and they're like 7 years old. People who were barely in this world, like, passed away. It's an amazing thing that games can do for you.
I just looked it up. It's everybody loves this game. I don't know how I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing about games that I really love is that makes it different from music, that makes it different from movies, that makes it different from visual art, that it combines all of those things together in one common place, and it allows you to have the joy of interacting with it itself. It makes you part of those moments, and there's no like therapeutic moment that's like that to me. Yeah. Of being able to immerse yourself in that moment, that world, that scenario. It's therapeutic in its own way because it makes you one with it. It makes you one with the art.
And you can tell that these game developers, that they're making the game for us and not for them, because these are the games that you see that don't have the $60, $50 price tags. Yeah. Like that Dragon Cancer, it's $10 on Steam and $5 on the Google Play Store. Yeah. Oh, wow. You can tell that they want us to experience these games.
Play video games.
Yeah, kind of a game similar to that. It's like at the beginning of Firewatch, it has like this big exposition where you decide like the kind of path you want to go on. Like every decision and dialogue choice you make in the game affects some sort of narrative later on. And like it gives you so much exposition and it's really happy, and then it just takes a turn for the worse. Like the whole basis of the game is that the game opens with you meeting your future wife in a bar, and you end up like developing a relationship. You go through some of the like key moments, and then she ends up getting dementia, and it ends up driving your relationship apart, and that's why your character ends up going to the Firewatch to get away from it, because
Firewatch is basically an outpost where people take it for months at a time.
Yeah, they take it at like 80 days at a time.
Yeah, 80
70
days.
or 80 days at a time, to where they just sit in the middle of a forest and watch for fires, alert the authorities when it happens. And that the game has so much emotional depth because it's not really filled with action. There's a lot of exploration, and it's a lot of narrative, and it's a little bit of a thriller. But there are just parts of the story that like just made my heart hurt.
I've been wanting to get to Firewatch
really
for
wanna
a
play it.
while.
Take the time.
I got it like a year ago, and I completely forgot about it. I was talking about it with one of my friends. He was like, "Hey, you should pick this up," and he ended up gifting it to me, and I've just yet to get to it.
Oh man.
But I'm probably going to.
Oxenfree also made me feel
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
hard.
When I looked up that Dragon Cancer, the 2 games that popped up next to it were Oxenfree and Firewatch.
Yeah.
I have to play that Dragon Cancer.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like the kind of like the older I've gotten, the more, the more I care about like narrative and story, and less I care about gameplay. I can forgive shitty gameplay if it's got an amazing story.
I'm like that with visuals. I can forgive subpar visuals if a game is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's the news for this week.
It's been a roller coaster.
Oh,
of
yeah, man.
topics.
Just like that Death Stranding trailer.
Oh,
Just
my
like
Oh
that.
my I just want to know more about the game.
God, Kojima.
I think.
Email me.
Over
Hit me
there.
up. Hit me
Call
up.
us.
Comment in the section below. Yeah.
Let-
say-
You can
What's
be on
Death
the
Stranding
podcast.
about?
You can be on the podcast.
Let us know about your theories in the comment section below.
Oh yeah. What is it?
I don't know what's going on enough.
I need to know.
It's time.
We
for
all
me
need to know.
You know it, I know it, everybody knows it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's get to
Right.
this
It's
next
time.
segment.
The last
So,
segment.
so moving on to our weekly rotating segment. Last week we talked about our top 5 favorite video games of all time. This week we're going with a little bit different section. The question for this week: who is the best companion in all of video games?
Navi.
Hey.
I'm kidding.
No.
Well, that's a wrap.
All right, bye everybody. See you next week.
That's a tough
Right.
question. Oh.
I know my picks for it aren't the best, but that's because I haven't really like branched out with my gaming choices. Like after I came up with mine, I decided to do a little bit of research and see what other people said, and apparently a lot of the best AI companions are in video games I've never played.
Right.
So
I'd probably have
rip me, I guess.
a few that are on those lists.
In my experience, like I would probably either say Boone or EDE from Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there were a lot of Fallout choices.
Oh,
that I
yeah,
saw.
Any
Boone-
Bethesda game, there's plenty of companions. As much as shit you want to give Lydia and Elder Scrolls,
I'm
Skyrim.
sworn to carry your burdens.
Hey, she can lug around everything you
Yeah.
give her. It's pretty great. But
I,
Boone is a great.
I like
character.
Boone. Boone has a really good.
From
He's a good character arc.
He has a great
Pokemon.
character arc. Very tragic. Really kind of.
Yeah.
Really kind of shows you the life of the Mojave Wasteland and just how people have to deal like with stuff involving their family and outside of like the nuclear holocaust itself.
Mhm.
Just in general, you're dealing with raw emotions from an individual standpoint in that. So
And-
yeah, I like that choice a lot.
Yeah, he's a great companion. He's a good sniper. Like he can get out. He can get down almost any enemy, even from a distance. Like sometimes I'll just be walking, and then the death cutscene just comes by. Like some enemy I didn't even know was around me. I'm like, thanks, Boone.
Thanks, man. Yes.
I have 2 picks for mine. One's a little bit
I
more of
also
a
have 2.
funnier pick, and the other one's a little more serious. My first pick would be Claptrap from Borderlands 2. Not because he was a great help necessarily, but he made me enjoy the game more.
And open.
There's just so much personality in that little box.
Oh yeah, right off the bat of the
Don't be
game.
confused by the tone of my voice. I'm actually quite depressed.
And then like
God.
the memories I made playing Borderlands 2 with Claptrap was like half of the reason why I got pre-sequel because of Claptrap. I don't know, it's just something about the witty robot just really made the game so much more. But on the more serious level, I know you made a jab to Navi a few seconds ago for Ocarina of Time, but Midna from Twilight Princess was an excellent companion.
Absolutely.
Good one. Definitely, well, at least in my opinion, the best in the Zelda franchise. Maybe second to the hat from Minish Cap.
Oh, the
It's
hat
a
Okay.
wonderful
is pretty
companion.
great.
It is.
Wonderful.
What is his
companion.
name?
It
I'm
starts with
Hat.
an L.
Hat.
It starts
Oh
with
my
an
God.
L. It's been too long since I've played
He's just
the
a
game.
hat. Like, I'm playing it, and I
really
still
likes
don't
how
remember his
sarcastic
name.
she is.
Mhm.
Oh, Midna? Yeah.
She's just
Oh,
like,
you should try that. Why would you do that, dumbass?
Yeah.
I also have two because I couldn't decide which one. I loved them both, and they both have like two proponents to like just a story that just gets you so emotionally involved. The first one is Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite.
Oh,
Oh god,
okay.
I forgot all
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, I agree with you
God.
100% on that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit my statement a little
Hey, I found some ammo.
Yes. Well, one thing.
Hey, I found some money. Elizabeth, we're in a firefight right now. Where'd you find this
All right,
money?
just coin.
Can I get some help? I got 5 cents.
Along with that, I think her AI was very smart. Just it
Fantastic.
helps you out
Donald
a
from
lot.
Kingdom Hearts 1.
Anyway.
And along with
We still haven't
the
played
smart
that.
AI moves, I also think that Ellie from The Last of Us is another fantastic
That was
companion.
I
one
haven't
of the
played The
ones I
Last of
saw
Us.
pop up a lot whenever I was looking
Mhm.
up AI companions, but I've never played The Last
Oh,
of
the
Us, regrettably.
Do yourself a favor, just if you
What's
can
it
ever
released on?
PS3 and PS4.
Yeah, they did a
Okay, cool.
remaster.
I think
of the
Dean
PS.
has it.
I recommend it for the PS4. It comes with a DLC backstory, which I have not played yet. I need to do it
Then why are you
But-
recommending it to me?
because the base game.
Part 2 just got
Oh my
announced,
God.
right?
Yeah, part 2
Yeah,
got
part
announced,
2.
and it's gonna really focus on Ellie, a grown-up Ellie, and
Yeah,
that's
because
gonna be
Joel is old as shit at this point.
yeah. But it's both of the characters, gameplay-wise, AI is fantastic. They're very supportive, help you out a lot, especially in struggle points in the game where you might die, and here you go, here's some health for you. So it's that they feel real whenever you play with them. You interact with them. There are parts in the game for The Last of Us where your characters just have random conversations with one another, and it feels organic. And just their story, their background story, things that get revealed later in the game, it just really pulls on your heart strings.
Also, Flood from Super Mario Sunshine. Anybody?
Nope.
Hey, listen.
Jackie, what about you?
I guess Trico from The Last Guardian is really good.
Yeah.
Because he's just a big dog.
Bird,
Bird
Bird
thing.
I don't have much experience in video games, but I have played that one.
Yeah.
I just know.
I love him. He's so good.
I just know the AI isn't the best. from
Yeah, I've heard
last
he's
time I played.
frustrating.
But
But it's the good kind of frustrating. Like you have this
Like
weird,
an
you
actual
have this
pet.
weird cat that's following you around that's like
weird
twice
cat,
the size
dog,
as you.
reptile, bird.
A little
thing.
bit more than twice the size.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
He's huge,
Ginormous.
but he also has like lightning bolts that come out of his tail or something.
Yeah.
Like, he's cool.
At first,
I-
whenever you
I
said
just think he's really
Trico,
cute.
I thought
He's
you
a
were gonna-
Pokemon.
I thought you were thinking of a Pokemon. I'm like, well, I guess
I mean, you're
that's
not
one
wrong.
of them.
No, I like
Grass
the big
type
cat,
from,
dog, bird creature
You should see
thing.
that list.
He is. But I don't have a
I'll have to
favorite.
find it.
For me, it's kind of, I guess, a little bit more not really as much mechanic based, but more kind of going back to like narrative based companions. One of my favorites is in season 1 of The Walking Dead, Clementine.
Oh,
yes.
Which is
Have we all played The Walking Dead?
I have not finished it.
I have not.
Please
I
no
have
spoilers.
not played season 3.
I have not played. I haven't finished
They
season
started
one.
with season 1.
I
I
haven't
haven't
played
finished
season
it.
1, but I've seen so many other people play it that I feel like I've gotten a good bit of the experience from it.
Clementine.
Legitimately,
I
the
have
only game.
season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
If you ever want to play it.
The first game that has ever made me cry was season 1, the end of season 1 of Walking Dead.
Yes.
Man.
I agree completely.
For somebody
I
who
cried like a
keeps up
bitch.
with the series as far as the comics are concerned, I'm all caught up with it. I love the fact that it just takes The Walking Dead in a different perspective.
Mhm.
Same world, different characters,
Yeah.
and it just...
That way they're free to do what they want without getting
Exactly.
shit from the source material fans.
Exactly.
Right.
Like the show has not done a good job doing.
I can't stand it. I can't stand the show at this point.
Hi guys, welcome to the Your Daily Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Tristan and I should do like a spin-off of this where we spend 3 hours bitching about the Walking Dead TV series.
Oh,
I'm not gonna
I
bitch
would-
about it. I just watch.
I would have to
episode
be
one,
in on it,
I'm
and I'd just be like,
not bitch.
"All right, I haven't watched since season 5. Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck this."
I gave up on the Walking Dead
Me
show.
too.
That
Just go to the comics.
yeah.
They're really well written.
As far as other companions go, I really enjoy Dog Meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just enjoy him because I'm like, I got a pup. Yeah, that's
Also, the dog from Metal Gear Solid 5.
Diamond Dog.
Yeah, Diamond Dog.
Oh, yeah.
I also really like from Fallout 4, like what's his name, Nick Valentine.
Oh yeah, he's a good.
I like him a lot.
There's also the partner from Nier Automata that I keep forgetting about.
9S.
Yes, 9S is a wonderful AI companion. Get your tissue boxes, friends.
So, that's a game that I still need to play.
What about Kazooie?
Actually, other than the voice, it's not a bad time.
Yes, I really enjoy the parts where you run around as Kazooie and it goes.
Kazooie?
Such a good game.
I know.
Oh, that's a nostalgia play right there.
Come on, Rare.
I also really enjoy from the Witcher series. It's not necessarily a companion as much. I enjoy Roach from the Witcher games, which if you've never played am I the only one here that's played the Witcher game?
I've played Witcher 3.
As we talked about last week,
Yeah.
last episode, apparently I'm missing out.
Yeah, the Witcher games are real great. I don't necessarily like Roach as a character, but it's like so Roach is Geralt's horse. But I just like the story behind Roach because Geralt has this weird thing where whenever he gets a new horse, he always names it the same thing. So every horse he's ever had has always been named Roach. Doesn't mean it could be completely different horses from I just like the story behind his name's Roach. Her name's Roach. What am I gonna call this one? I'm gonna call it Roach. Also, Yennefer and Triss are good companion characters from The Witcher. But
you should play The Witcher. It's like Skyrim but more Slavic.
yes, that's a good narrowing it down.
I've watched some friends play specifically The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and
Each one is very different from
that's
other.
what I was saying. It's kind of like if I know I was a fan of Diablo 2, and then whenever Diablo 3 came out, I was this looks like a completely different franchise.
Mhm. Yeah, combat is very different from game to game on The Witcher.
Yeah, that's what the point I was bringing up. The combat in Witcher 3 looks insane.
Oh, it's good. It's so good. That's one of my favorite parts about The Witcher 3 is the combat.
Makes you really feel like Geralt.
Yeah, because let me tell you about how you play in the first game. The first game is a lot of WASD to move, right? And you got your mouse right here, and all right, there's the enemy. Click. All right, that's not really working on it. Maybe I need to switch kind of what style I'm using. Switch. Click. Okay, that's working better. Okay, this enemy is a monster, so I better pull out my silver sword. Right click. No, that's not working. Let me change styles. All right, cool. I'm gonna go turn in my quests. Great story. The combat is shit in the first Witcher game.
It sounds like it's kind of reminiscent of like the
Kind of like old.
MMO combat
Oh, yeah.
in a way.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go kill this enemy.
Better switch to quick style.
Yep.
Oh, this guy is wicked. That it ends up being one of those things where you get very involved with like the monster compendium on there, and you'll be like okay, I know about this creature. He's weak. He's a monster, so he's weak against my silver sword instead of my steel sword. So steel swords you'll use on like non-monster creatures, so humans, elves, dwarves, like that. Whereas with
Not
like
monsters.
Monsters you'll use silver sword. You'll use your silver sword, and then different monsters will be more weak against different styles of combat. Like this one is better against like standard style, whereas this one is strong against quick style, and this one is weak against heavy style. So you'll switch between all of those. But yeah, play The Witcher.
Yeah.
Just play video games.
Play video
games.
2018 is a wonderful time for video games.
It's why we exist.
Absolutely super.
It's what we're here for. We're here to talk
Super
about video games.
hot.
Yes.
I want super hot so bad.
Same.
I'm picking it up as soon as
I want to play it in
it's
VR.
free.
Super hot VR looks so fucking fun.
Their speedrun, it's already like an established speedrun for the VR super hot.
Good.
People streaming it, it's absolutely hilarious to watch them.
Good.
You just see them like,
Yeah. It makes you look like Keanu Reeves in like an action movie. It looks like The Matrix, dude. It's so good. But yeah, let us know who your favorite video game companion is in the comments.
unless it's Navi from Ocarina of Time, in which case don't let us know who
Yeah.
your favorite AI
Hey,
companion
If I see one, hey, listen.
Listen.
I'm not gonna do anything. I'm all talk. I don't know what I'm saying.
I'll probably put
It's
like
a free country.
I'll put a
Do
frown
what you
face.
want.
Yeah. You don't want to make me upset, but I think that's gonna do it for us for this week of the YDN cast. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Austin, thank you for filling in for
Hey,
Logan.
Happy too.
It was nice having you. Round of applause. Round of applause all around.
Yeah, thank you.
Be
Should
sure.
invite him back.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already. You can find us at YDNerd. Be sure to like us on Facebook so you can get all those constant updates. Like, comment, subscribe. How many different YouTube buzzwords can I throw in at the end of this video?
Monetization.
Yeah. No, I don't have the required number of views to do monetization, man. Whatever. But thanks so much again for watching. Be sure to keep up with us for all of our future content. Until next time, bye everyone.
Later.
Bye.